Hello, everyone. This is the Gauntlet's Open Community Gaming. This is my first session this weekend, and we will be playing Annalise. We're playing the scenario, the Mysterious Voyage of the Auspicious. My name is Donna McCarthy. My pronouns are he, him, and I guess I'll be facilitating this game. Tonight, I will be playing the captain of the ship, Captain David Merrilies, who is an experienced middle-aged sailor and a well-regarded captain in the East India Company, who is a bit laissez-faire, probably got his commission because he's rich, or his father is, probably, who knows. So we're just going to go left to right on the character keeper and have the rest of our players introduce ourselves and their characters. So Shannon.
So hi, I'm Shannon White, she, her pronouns, and I'm playing Lady Caroline Wellesley. And my uncle is the governor under the Raj in Calcutta, I believe. So I switched off my my view here. But so my uncle is highly positioned in the colonial government. So I'm heading back to England to stay with some distant relatives. And as far as I know, I'm the only passenger on the ship, and certainly, as far as I know, the only woman.
Great, thanks. Good.
Hi, I'm Kim. My pronouns are she, her. I have realized a flaw in my planning, which is I do not know how to pronounce my character's name. If anyone wants to help me out with that, that would be great. But they are a street urchin in Calcutta who fell in with a revolutionary-minded gang. And when he tried to leave, his life was threatened, and now he's a stowaway.
Well, I think it's just Punit.
Punit?
Sengupta is his family name, so we can keep the first names for the most part, I guess.
Thank you.
Okay. And lastly, Andrew.
Hi, I'm Andrew Bailey. I'm just my first time on the Gauntlet. He, him pronouns. My first time on the Gauntlet, and I'm playing the ship's doctor, Thomas Millingham. Should we have more? He's a young and highly skilled surgeon from London. Fed up with the calcified intransigence of his older colleagues, he decided to take to the sea for a time in order to satisfy both a hunger for adventure and the need to take advantage of his youth and skill.
Okay, great. I guess the introduction, it's would have been a good thing to do first. The year is 1798. The Auspicious, a newly acquired vessel of the East India Company, had been in harbour in Calcutta for some time, being provisioned and taking on cargo. The night it was to leave, it caught fire and was almost totally destroyed. 9 months later, it's been rebuilt and has just entered the open seas on its way back to England. The crew is nervous and ill omens abound, but the voyage is underway and the East India Company needs the ship back to make it to Southampton with all due speed. So in this first part, we're going to get to know our characters and kind of define them a little bit more than they have been already. That's going to involve generating satellite traits for our characters and claiming extra fictional motifs. We're going to hint at and maybe foreshadow our character secrets. We're going to show how and why the vampire is attractive to the characters. And we're going to define the relationship between the characters and the vampire a bit more concretely. I really like the way that the lady's description says that she's the only official passenger aboard. I mean, that could refer to Punit, but who knows who else it could refer to. Okay, so does anyone want to have their scene go first? Or see, if I go first with my character, someone else will have to be the scene guide. So if I do that, I will pick the scene guide. So
I
you may as
volunteer as tribute then.
Okay. So so what we do when we set a scene is the scene guide does that a little bit. We frame a scene together. You know, if you have an idea for it, let's go with that. And if you don't, I can come up with something. When we get to a point in the fiction where it seems that something is really at stake, we have a moment, and then we kind of switch to something a bit more mechanical. In the meantime, the other two players can have their characters walk in to the scene. If either Kim or I introduce some kind of motif that you like and you want to kind of own as a player later on, you can claim it. So just like put up your hand or put it in the chat that you're claiming whatever it is, and that can be something like a character. You really like that first mate and he's interesting, or there's someone is cleaning the deck of blood and you like that. Okay. So Kim, do you have an idea for punnets for scene? No. Okay. Well, I will. Here are some ideas someone generated earlier. So one of these key scenes that's suggested is that Punnet watches while two of the crew members find his hideaway. How does that sound to you?
Sounds good.
So I guess what would Punnet be doing that would have led him to kind of leaving his hideaway for even a few minutes?
Scavenging.
Okay.
I was hungry.
So yeah, I think you found some whatever salted beef or some strange whatever sailors eat on these long voyages, something like hardtack or something probably not too enticing to our modern tastes and sensibilities, but it's food, right? So there's two sailors. Let me get a name. There's a young man, barely out of boyhood, called George Bowen, and there's an older sailor called John Smith. And I think the older one is berating the younger one because he was supposed to have this place tidied, and you know how the first mate hates when things are left in this kind of state. And I think the old guy Smith is kind of shoving the young guy to just throw all this stuff out. And he kind of turns away and says, "I'll be back at the next bell, and this better not be here." So he storms off, and you hear him mutter under his breath that he prays that the first mate Fitch won't ask him any questions he'll have to lie about. What do you do? Or actually, let me ask this question: what does young Bowen find that he thinks is quite interesting in your little hidey hole?
Knife.
So
a
yeah,
fancy knife.
So something that may have been stolen on aboard the ship.
No, I brought it on the ship with me. It's stolen from the gang I used to belong to.
Okay. So would it be like a Calcutta design it doesn't look familiar to this guy.
Yes, it
Okay.
looks alien to him.
Okay.
He has no idea how it would have gotten there.
Yeah. So I think he recognizes it as something that might be valuable and that maybe he wants to nick. And I think he like spits on the blade and starts to clean it with his shirt. He seems quite intent upon it, and I think is oblivious to your presence.
I think that I can get it back later. It's precious to me, but I know that he's not going anywhere. Like, he'll be on the ship.
Yeah, okay.
And I'm not sure that I'm ready to reveal myself to anyone yet.
Okay. So I think he, it just gets shoved in his belt or something. And then there's a few other things, but nothing valuable. Maybe there's you said you were going out because you were running low on food, but there's probably not much food. Maybe whatever is there, he ends up throwing in a pig pen. I do believe that ships of this era often had livestock on them very early on in the voyage. So he just he feeds the pigs with the rest of it, and I think as he walks away, he intends to come back with like a scrubbing brush to get rid of any evidence that anything was ever here.
I'm going to try to beat him to it. I'm going to try to clean up so when he gets back, there's nothing.
Okay.
There's no evidence that I was there.
Yeah. So, so is this? So are you trying to like just make him forget about this location, or maybe you thinking of moving to a new spot on the ship? What's the?
I'm concerned that he will say something to someone about it.
Okay.
And want him not to have. He either has to reveal the dagger or admit that he was imagining it.
Okay. So does that sound like we have like a moment of tension here that we want to put on the table? Does it sound like that to you, or?
I think I'm going to need a little more guidance to
Okay.
start. Like a little.
So when we look at a moment, we are looking for something significant that would affect the fate of your character. A pivotal moment where the story could go in one direction or another. So so just what you said, like does he mention it to anyone else? When he comes back with the mop or cloth or whatever, does he discover you? It seems like there's a lot of things at stake, and some of that could be achievements, like maybe Punit discovers a new hiding place, or maybe he gains an ally in this guy, or maybe there's a consequence, like he's discovered or his knife is taken by someone that he can't just take off quite so easily. So those are the kind of things that jump to mind if we talk about a moment right now in this scene. Now, The other thing that is important to say is that while most scenes probably will have moments, there's no real, it's not mandatory. So we can just have a color scene. We can say we kind of find out a little bit about Punit, we find out a little bit about the crew, but we're happy for this not to be like a mechanically important scene. So again, that's kind of up to us as a table to say, There's no need to push something right now. I'll leave that up to you whether you want to, push this mechanically or not at this stage.
Is for putting it to stay undiscovered for a little while longer. Does anyone else at the table have any opinions?
It sounds wise, if nothing else.
Yeah, I'm going to spend some more time observing sailors before I see if I have any potential allies.
Yeah. Okay. So we leave that scene there, unless you want to get something more out of it. Okay, cool.
There is one thing I'd like.
Oh, sorry, go for it.
I think you're about to say the same thing as I do.
No, you go for it. Go for it. You go first. No.
I was about to claim the knife.
Yep.
Okay.
Do it.
Okay. So.
Would you like to flip for it?
No, go for it.
Okay. So when you claim a knife, like we said earlier, it's like anything really, any object, any person, any motif in a scene. I think for a new claim, when it's the first claim that you made in the scene, you get 2 coins in it automatically.
So I'm popping it in the character keeper down here.
Yeah.
The Calcutta knife.
Yeah. So, and it's the if there was a load of stuff in the scene and you wanted to claim a second one, you could do so, but you don't get those free 2 coins. You have to kind of redistribute the coins you already have in your claims. And later on, if something happens in a scene and Andrew wants to introduce that knife, he can. I think the only rule is you cannot claim something that you introduced yourself. So there's a bit of a break on you. You have to share your cool things with the other players, I think is the way to say it. Okay.
Just out of interest, Donna, you introduced the knife. Could Kim have taken it?
Kim, yes.
Yeah.
Did I? I think I said there might have been a knife or something like that, and Kim.
He said he found something, and I said it was a knife.
Yeah.
So okay. In that case, other way around.
Yeah.
So you could have taken it, even though you're in the scene.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry for misremembering.
No problem. I forgot myself, I think. Okay. Anything else anyone wants to claim? I mean, there's one thing I would love to claim, except I introduced it myself, so I can't do that.
Is it the pigs?
I kind of want to claim the
pigs. I've been watching Deadwoods, obviously.
I think I do want to claim the pigs.
Okay.
I think that was...
Yeah. Voracious omnivores that can disappear a body. I like that. Okay. So we move on to the next character. Usually,
I'm next in.
Usually you just go in character keeper order, and we just keep going around until we run out of steam. Okay, so Andrew, so again, as before, whoever the active player is gets to pick who their guide is. Yes. I'm happy to be the guide again, unless anyone else wants to.
I figure as we're beginners, that might be wise, unless either Shannon or Kim would like to be guiding. Oh,
no, I'd love to.
Okay.
I think that narrows it down, Donna, please.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. So, do you have any ideas for the scene setting, or will I jump on something?
I quite like this idea of the seizure from the key scenes at the bottom.
Yeah. Now, do you want that to be in the middle of a storm, or do you want it to be not in the middle of a storm?
I think let's have a storm on the horizon. It's a impending issue.
So I think the captain is in his cabin, but I think between the lookout and the first mate, they have spotted this spotted this on the horizon, and so it's kind of all hands on deck, and maybe there's a decision made without the captain to try to outrun the storm or to try to avoid it in some way. So it's not like cutting down the sail to just ride through it. It's let's avoid it first. And I think one of those sailors, what's his name in the sheet? It is Godfrey King. Is hauling. I think he's deploying the sails to properly take advantage of these winds, and all of a sudden, he starts convulsing in a bit of a seizure, and I think the crew member nearest him shouts for the doctor, but has to continue working, so he can't even do the slightest bit of intervention on his mate.
Sure. Well, sure. In that case, I'm going to absolutely bolt out of the out of the cabin where I've been. Not the captain's cabin. Just one of the other above deck ones, because that's what we're here for. You lose a man, you lose your steering.
Yeah.
So I'm darting across directly to the guy on the ground, foam at his mouth. How does he look?
He looks weak, a little bit faint, even accepting the seizure. Has he been calling in at sick roll recently, or is this a new surprise to the doctor?
He's been complaining of weakness. We just put it down to too much rum, frankly.
Yeah. So I think as the seizure starts to abate somewhat, and there's I think maybe you give him a bit of air and maybe bring him into the sick bay. Maybe give him some water to drink. I don't know, something to try to ease him. He suddenly starts vomiting.
Is it just food? Is it liquid? Is it blood in it?
I think there is blood in it. Yeah. I think it doesn't look like there's much solid food being going down at all, but it's definitely bloody, whatever it is.
Well, there's some kind of receptacle nearby, not designed for it. Some kind of tankard that I can grab and catch what I can. But that's going to need clearing up. That's awful. Is he relaxed? Can I restrain him? Can I leave him, or is he going to throw himself off the bed?
I think you might have to restrain him. You might have to strap him down.
Then that's what I'll have to do. I will find. There are leather straps on the gurney. It's a boat. There has to be.
Yes.
I'm going to try to buckle him in with the leather straps while he thrashes. Meanwhile, try and get a sense of what the condition might be while doing it. To see if there's any signifying symptoms. That's the word.
Yeah.
We're in a pandemic. I can't remember symptoms.
we're blocking those serious words from our vocabulary tonight. I think. Do you feel like this is a moment with achievement or consequence? Okay.
I think it might be, because I think my achievement would be to determine the cause of this. Oh, hang on, I need to pick a trait first, don't I?
Yeah. So
I'm sorry. Talk me through. I'm doing this wrong.
So when we're at this moment, the first thing that happens, I mean, technically, whether you seize depending on whether you seize the moment or I, as the guide, push the moment. The first thing that happens is you define a satellite trait.
Okay. You asked, but I said yes. So I'm going to say I did that.
That's fair. Yeah. So
my satellite trait's for emergency surgery, is it? Do you reckon?
Well, you can create a new one, or you can use an existing one. So when you create when you create a new one, you base it off either your vulnerability or your secret. Okay. And so what happens is it doesn't need to be tightly locked into one of those, but it has to be some way associated with it. And you'd spend coins from that core trait. So if you spend, you can spend any number, but you gain coins in the satellite trait equal to 1 plus double the number you spend. So if you spend 1, you end up with 3 in the satellite. If you spend 2, you end up with 5, and so on.
So if I made a new one, because it's not quite surgery, if I said, could it be? It doesn't need to be precise as diagnosis or as wide as deduction, or
it can be as precise or wide as you want. So like your vulnerability, right, is you're vulnerable because you find perverse pleasure in your job. So like
that leads to diagnosis, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think like you have to watch him suffer to find out what's wrong, right, or something. I don't know.
Ask about what color the vomit is. I'm really sorry. Am I pushing? Yes. Okay. So if that's 5, I have to go down 2 in my vulnerability.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a lot.
Yeah. So you can say
3.
It's 3, and you go down by 1. So
let's do that.
Okay. So so that's the first thing we do in a moment. You define your satellite trait. Then you're seizing the moment. So you define the first outcome as an achievement. So I think we've already said it. You're going to find out what's wrong.
Find out what's wrong with an idea of how to treat it, how to get him back on his feet and back on the deck.
Yeah, and then I define a consequence, right? And it's important that these are not oppositional, that these are, I guess, orthogonal. So both can happen or both cannot happen independently of each other, right? So if I can't say the consequence is you do not find out what is wrong with it. Right? I guess that's a very straightforward one. I think my consequence for this will be that he dies. Okay.
Yeah. So I know what would have saved him.
Yeah, so you know what was wrong with him, but he dies. You know what was wrong with him. He doesn't die. He dies, and you don't know. Are all kind of on the table. Okay.
Okay.
So the other thing that can happen is that you can define. You can say, I want another achievement. In which case, I will define another consequence. I
only have three coins.
Yeah. So if you run out of coins on that, you get the final consequence for free. But we can, if we want to keep it simple, we can just say 2 and 2.
Let's keep it simple. I already feel like I'm holding things up a little.
Okay, no problem. Okay, well, this is the first one, I guess. So everyone is learning from this example. Okay, so then the next thing you do is you roll the number of dice equal to the number of outcomes. So it's 1 consequence and 1 achievement. So you're going to roll 2 dice. And you're also going to spend 2 coins from your trait. Okay.
So my diagnosis goes down to 1. Yeah. Where am I rolling the dice?
Sorry, the link that I put in the chat to the roll for your party?
I'm on an iPad. I need to find the chat.
I can roll dice for you. If
No, I found the button.
Oh, okay, cool. So, so here, if it's your first time in this dice room, okay. So
Actually, yes.
there's
Could you email it? I can do it on this screen then because it's not working from here.
okay. Let me email. Of course, I closed my email because Gmail is a beast and wants to take up all of my processing power. So bear with me for a minute.
Actually, you had a sensible. Okay, I think I'm in the right place.
Oh, okay.
So it's 2d6, right?
2d6, yeah.
Do you see that?
I see that, a 1 and a 4.
Exactly. Wonderful.
Okay. So, so now what happens is you assign those to, in the Moments tab, you can see the outline. So basically you're going to put the 1 on, say, the achievement level or on the consequence level and put the 4 in the other column. So you can see like a 4 plus is you gain the achievement or you avoid the consequence. And 3 minus is the opposite. And then the higher or the lower you go, the worse or the better it gets. So.
Okay, so if I put 1 in achievements, I'm very losing. But if I put 1 in consequences, you get an extra consequence.
Exactly, yeah.
So I think I'm going to put 1 in achievements. And 4 in consequences.
Okay.
So I am currently not working it out, but I am avoiding the consequence, though barely.
Okay. And now, what can happen is that any of the other players can affect the outcome by spending coins from their claims. Usually this will be as some way of like you can to include color, you can just add any of your claims in, but you can also kind of use your claims to affect the mechanical outcome as well. Let me bring up the rules for that because there's a couple of things you can do with coins. Okay, so you can spend 1 coin off a claim to reroll a die assigned to any consequence or achievement. The active player is bound to accept the new result, good or bad. Anyone can use a claim to reroll a die in any potential outcome. You can spend coins off a claim to modify a potential outcome. So you can raise or lower the number assigned to a potential outcome up or down, but the number of coins you spend. You can spend 1 coin off a claim to add a new outcome to a moment. And so we'll roll a new die to get a new consequence or a new achievement on that. Or you can spend 2 coins off a claim to add a new outcome with a value of 3 or 4 on the dice already. Okay. So if anyone wants to pile in on the poor doctor or help him out, that's possible. I guess looking at people's claims, I mean, there's a lot of things here going on, but there's blood running down the deck quite possibly. Who knows?
Yeah, I was looking at that because I think that might be something that I could use. I just want to make sure that I'm understand. So I could spend, so if that's part of my claim, the mechanics, that's kind of what would be most helpful possibly to re-roll one of the dice or to add. What do you think, Andrew?
There is being on a 1. You'd have to spend 3. You'd have to spend 3 to raise it to somewhere useful, and just
okay, so
1 to re-roll. I think, is that right, Donna?
Yeah, that's right.
So I think then in game, just as Lady Caroline, that I probably have a cabin in a similar location to where the doctor is staying, and kind of look out, and I'm seeing the vomit and the blood running kind of past my feet, and follow to see where the doctor is treating the sailor, and not afraid of blood, not afraid of, but offers to help. And then I would then spending a coin on that. Is that how that works?
Yeah, exactly. And so now, Andrew, you can. Sorry, we'll just ask. You're giving him the option to re-roll the 1. Are you?
Yes,
Yeah, okay.
basically. Or I'll put it to the doctor. How can I help?
Oh, well, would you like to roll it? It's your coin.
Sure.
Okay. So you can just click on the 1, and then you can hit the green button, re-roll selected.
Okay.
And
all right, here we go.
Oh, that's much better. So yes, I'm so with no respect for your station. I'm terribly sorry. I'm going to throw you a rag over my shoulder with which to mop up some of the mess, and I will apologize once I realize who you are. But right now I am caught in the moment.
Okay, cool.
Sounds good.
So sorry, that's a 6, right?
Mm-hmm.
That turned into a 6. Okay. So, in which case you're so on a that extra bonus or the extra penalty on a 1 or a 6 only happen if it's a natural roll. You still get the full unexpectedly positive outcome, but you don't get to generate that extra achievement. So yeah, I think I might leave it to the two of you to declare what you've discovered in this achievement, and in terms of avoiding consequence, you avoid the consequence, though perhaps only barely. And when the moment closes, Andrew, you place a coin in your reserves for the doctor.
My reserves. Okay. So yeah, I think we catch him. Between us, we catch him right at the moment of choking on what he's throwing up as I'm trying to restrain him. Presumably, this is something that you're catching and drawing my attention to.
Yes, this is like some of the patients I helped in my charity work, so I'm able to doctor help here.
Indeed, my goodness, thank you. I would have missed that. I'm indebted to you, Lady Caroline.
Yes.
Forgive me, but he still breathes. What does this look like? What do we think the actual reason is? I'm pretending to more medical knowledge than I actually have.
Same thing here. So I was thinking possibly probably just similar to some form of epilepsy that I saw. I probably wouldn't have a concept for it as well. And also, I don't have medical knowledge as player.
Well, but it's some kind of reaction between a natural fit of the body and the contents of his stomach. There is something in there that is wrong. He's this news observation. He is there are two factors at work here. Something physical preying on his condition.
Yeah, that sounds right. And it's something that his body is really violently trying to expel, right? So there's something.
Is there, in terms of an unexpectedly positive outcome, perhaps you identify something in his diet that should be like a removed from general circulation, or perhaps there's some kind
Oh
of
goodness.
some kind of item that you were bringing back to London as some kind of intellectual curiosity, but which might ameliorate the impact. You've discovered some new medicine or something.
Yeah, there's grains of something in the emesis. There's like soil almost. There is dirt. There's dirt in what he's throwing up. It's almost like soil, like mud. There's something in his diet that shouldn't be there. This is pica or something. But when he wakes, we'll have to ask him where he's finding his where he's finding soil on a boat.
I mean, I think I must claim this strange ichor.
Lovely. And I add one to my reserve.
Yes.
Where is my reserve? There's my reserve. Goodness. But nothing in my trait. That stays at 1.
Yeah, that stays at 1. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And Shannon, you should mark down the blood running down the deck from 2 to 1 for spending that coin. Okay. Great. So if we continue, I'm the next scene. Who wants to guide me through that?
I or Shannon, you've done a tribute already.
Yeah, I'm happy to, or Andrew, if you want to.
Okay. Your
choice, Donna.
Okay. Do you want to take it, Shannon?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. I quite like, given that we're kind of in the middle of this storm, I like one of the suggestions here that the ship's first mate, Andrew Fitch, needs the captain to make an immediate decision while he's in the middle of writing a key section of his book. That's what he's doing in his cabin. So maybe it's come to like crunch time to make a decision whether to continue to outrun the storm or to batten down the hatches and just ride it out.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, so I think that we're in a storm, so everything's roiling and the ship is pitching, but you're in your cabin determinedly writing. So the first mate would come and yeah, basically what I said, like, Captain, I know we're already 2 days off schedule, but if we don't stop now, I don't think the ship's going to make it through. So I need you to make that decision.
Andrew, that's ridiculous. This ship is in tip-top condition. I don't think we can afford to just hang around here in the middle of the Indian Ocean.
It doesn't matter about the condition. It's the weather condition. We know we rebuilt the ship from the fire, but have you gone out on deck yet? I'm going to get a little irate with you.
He kind of looks out a window or like the gap of the door behind you. Of course, I mean, I'm paying very particular attention to everything I must. Well, I mean, do you think we should just minimize our sails and sit here like a helpless, I don't know, Frenchman?
I think we're more helpless at the mercy of these winds. We're already down at least one sailor who collapsed, and I don't think that the rest of the crew's looking like they can handle going all night in a storm like this. Sir, I think you really need to come out onto the deck and see for yourself. And and we need to see you out there.
Well, just tell the men that no, you know what, and Mr. Fitch, I think I will take your advice, and I think your decision is the wisest, and you should go out and do what you must.
Okay. I think at this point the first mate is still frustrated that the captain's not coming out given the storm. So I think the first mate's going to try one last time to push probably past a little bit past kind of insubordination for the time period, probably already way past that, but just to basically say we need to see you away from. I think the first mate wouldn't actually say away from that damn book of yours, but that's kind of what's going through his head. And see you on the deck. So probably one last push there to see get you.
Okay.
Get you out.
So I think this is our moment, and I think I think the captain obviously just wants Fitch to leave him alone, right? That's my key achievement in this scene. So I think he like thumps the desk and stands up, but it's merely to berate Fitch and not to actually go outside. If that sounds about right. So I think. I think I'm going to call this core or this satellite trait delegation, the fine art of delegation. Okay, and I am going to spend 2 coins. So it'll be 5. Okay. You have an idea for a consequence?
Let me know if this is maybe too overreaching or harder to quantify, but I think a consequence would be that Fitch starts to not quite so dissent, but like complains about the captain not making an appearance on deck to the second and third mates, and so there's a little bit of loss of confidence in the captain.
No, I think that's good. Yeah. Obviously, like he wouldn't say it outright, but people will understand what he means based on what's happened. Yeah, that makes sense to me. I think I'm happy with just those 2 outcomes. So I'm just gonna roll those 2 dice. Okay, a 1 and a 6. Perfect. Let me see. I think I'm gonna go to be a drama queen. I'm gonna put 6 on the achievement, and I'm gonna put 1 on the consequence. So my achievement, which is being left alone, has an unexpectedly positive outcome. If this is the initial roll of the moment, the active player generates another achievement and places a die with a value of 4 on it. I think that extra achievement will be like as the storm, batters them, the captain is going to have a breakthrough in his book, which is no one will be surprised to hear, entitled "The Whaling Patterns of the South Atlantic," which he's hoping to present at the Royal Academy next year, obviously. So I think he's going to make significant progress on that achievement, on the hunting patterns of whalers in the South Atlantic. And the consequence, which is mutinous, to say the least, happens with full force. If this is the initial roll of the moment, the scene guide generates another consequence and places a die with a value of 3 on it, which is that it happens, though not to its fullest extent. Any ideas for that?
I think I was thinking is that perhaps because the first mate, the captain, spent so long arguing this, and then the captain didn't come onto the deck, that there's something that the captain, with his experience, would have spotted that the mates didn't, and so there's one of the masts became weakened, or some part of the ship became.
Okay.
I thought that I had. Is that too overreaching with like this?
I like the ship's mast is damaged. Maybe it was the mast that or poor sailor from earlier was working on, right?
Yeah.
So that those sails hadn't been reefed quickly enough, and therefore it's taking damage from the wind. Okay, yeah, that works. There is also, while I'm thinking of it, there is a spot for your moments if you want to write down, what the achievements and consequences were. It might be handy to just remember them. It's not mandatory or anything, but I'm gonna, otherwise I'll forget. Okay, so
Can I claim the captain's book?
you could indeed, yeah.
That,
yeah. Or whales or whales hunting or whatever you want to. Okay. So, I guess we go back around to Lady Caroline.
who's going to frame?
You want to pick, or am I volunteering?
Anyone like to?
I'll be a scene guide again for this, and then I think hopefully people will be comfortable enough to jump in. Okay, so I think I like the idea of Caroline having gotten a little bit bloody during the kind of medical chicanery. And I think while normally laundry wouldn't be a big deal because of the storm, you're down below decks and you can't go out. So I think either you're kind of trying to wash it in a hand basin in your cabin, or maybe the smell is making you really uncomfortable, or maybe a little bit of both. How's that sound?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So yeah, I think this blood will just um, not clean out. You know, it's this this kind of muddy ichor seems to be kind of infused or mixed in with the blood, and it just stains really, really hard, or is just stuck fast in the fabric.
So I need some help with this. So if the storm's still raging, I'm not quite sure who I would go to. You know, what I might do is go back to the doctor and actually see if he possibly has found the same thing. I don't know if he'd had a chance to clean up, but I have one change of clothing accessible to me. It might be not as fancy as what I was wearing before. We'll see. And then also the doctor might have something that would clean blood.
It's true. So you're coming to find me?
Yeah. I think.
Am I allowed to do this, Donna?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I mean, anyone can enter a scene. So, for example, you know, all the sailors are up above doing work, so it might be a great opportunity for Punit to stalk the cabins and to steal some stuff when there's no one around to notice him. You know, I mean, I'm not going to put the captain in the scene because I'm the scene guide, but you know, anyone else who's not involved, so either Andrew or Kim, can jump in whenever they think they want to.
Excellent. Well, you find me with a small basin, going very carefully up my hands, and they're still slightly ingrained with this dark blood. And I'm polishing a little. It doesn't seem to be coming off at all either, but I'm taking a very intense interest.
I mean, I think with skin, it will come off. Though maybe there's, you know, under your nails, there's going to be a particularly difficult, you know, something that
around the cuticles.
Yeah. You know, maybe it's the light. You know, everyone is working on these really poor oil storm lanterns now when it's on lockdown. So maybe it looks like it's not cleaning out. Maybe the light here is so bad that you're not quite sure if you're getting rid of it.
That's true. We are watching by my claim the flashes of lightning.
Yeah. Nice.
My lady.
Doctor, how's the patient?
Resting, not talking yet. But thank you again. I will ask your permission before throwing a cloth next time.
Not at all. I have a strange request, potentially to ask of you. Have you anything that you use to help remove blood and fluids from your patients? My dress became soiled in that moment, and I've been trying to remove the blood, and I'm so sorry. It's an indelicate request, but I think we've been through some indelicate situations.
My apologies. Of course, I have surgical soap. It may bleach your clothing, but it will work on the blood eventually. And I'm very happy to share this.
Thank you. So I think that would be great. Maybe I can try that and see if that works.
So yeah, I think it is like, I guess, like having clean clothes could be an achievement. You know, given that you said you're in the current state, you're kind of low on wardrobe. I think if that's what you want to aim for, an achievement, that sounds fine to me. I think a consequence would be that that you do not sleep at all tonight. That sounds okay? Yeah.
Yep.
So you should generate a new satellite trait for this, or you can, if you want to, generate a new satellite trait based on this.
So I think it probably comes out of the vulnerability, can always get help.
Okay, yeah. So it's going to come from the core trait. So
the core trait. Oh, yes,
yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
Thanks. Oh, I'm vulnerable because I'm in a total situation. Interesting.
But you could use the existing satellite trait, right?
Yeah, you can. So you don't need to generate a new satellite trait. You can just use an existing one if it makes the most sense.
I think possibly they can always get help, but the vulnerabilities, I'm vulnerable because I'm never in control of the situation. Let me stick with can always get help.
Okay. So you have the option of adding additional outcomes to it if you want to go for a second achievement. And then we will add a second consequence as well if you do want to do that. Do I keep it simple or go for the burn, I guess?
We keep it simple.
Okay, cool. So you spend 2 out of that satellite trait, and then you roll 2 dice.
I just take it out and go from 3 to 5, right?
Yeah.
And then, oops. What am I doing?
So you just click both of them. So you can select and then shift and then select the other one, and then you can re-roll.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
There. 3 and a 5.
Okay. So, what do you think? Put 1 into the achievement and 1 into the consequence.
I think for me, it's interesting. She does manage to get the blood out of her clothes. I put the 5 in the achievement, but then does not sleep. So 3 in the consequence, 5 in the achievement.
Okay. So anyone, anyone can spend claims, spend coins out of claims to push this in one direction or another.
So 3 in the consequence is it's going to happen, right?
It happens, but not to its fullest extent. So say someone could spend 1 to push that either to a 4 or to a 2.
I don't feel quite that mean yet.
Okay.
We're still on good terms, right?
Well, again, say, I know, Shannon, when you did that, hitting Andrew's consequence last time with a reroll, you introduce your character, but you don't need to. You can just have the claim be effective. So, for example, even if the captain is nowhere near it, I can just explain it by the fictional claim that I'm using. Right?
Oh, okay. Yep. Thank you. That's
so. Like I've just reduced my stormy weather to the so we've got the to make the consequence of 4 less happening. By which will mean that something in the despite the thunder and the lightning, something in the rocking of the waves as a result is almost soothing, and that sense of insomnia is lulled away.
Okay, so you avoid the consequence, though perhaps only barely. So I guess maybe you don't sleep as well as you usually would, when the moment closes, you place another coin in your reserves. And for the achievement, which is getting the blood out, you do it handily. And when the moment closes, you add a coin to this satellite trait. So coming out swimmingly of that one.
It's not a vampire story, it's a happy story.
So actually, you spent that, and it goes around the table. So anyone else can undo or redouble efforts to make it better or worse for the character. So I'm going to hold off. Kim, are you?
I'm going to hold off.
Holding off, okay. And Shannon, you also have the option of spending coin from your trait or from your claims to affect your own result.
No, I think
okay.
You're happy that blood's gone and I'm getting a little bit of sleep.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So I guess we go back around to you, Kim, for Punit. Do you want anyone particularly to frame the scene for you? No? Okay. Any ideas for this scene for Punit?
I think that I am going to take advantage of the storm to explore the ship some more.
Okay.
I'm not sure how we'll force a moment out of that, but I think that's what I'd like to be doing.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, are you trying to find something very specific, or maybe an alternate place to stay?
I'm trying to find leverage. Like, I'm looking for unusual things.
Okay, yeah.
I'm concerned about what will happen when I am discovered and want to know if there's anything I should know about the ship.
Okay. So maybe there is, I think there's a locked cabin, which, you know, you have maybe walked past it a few times over the course of the last several days and nights. And there's never been any sign of anyone going in or out, never been a light coming from under the door. Something must be in there, right?
I think I'm going to take advantage of the loud storm and the relative privacy to try to break the lock.
Okay. So yeah, I think that's a fairly straightforward task. And inside the room, I guess it's a ship, so the cabins are not quite so large. So this seems more like a storeroom than a proper cabin. You know, there is boxes, probably with private stamps from the East India Company in there. It's obviously used to be a cabin because there's like a bed and there's boxes on the bed and all this kind of stuff. So it's not. It's obviously been repurposed. But yeah, there's a lot of do not open until blah 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 instructions nailed to some of these boxes.
This is obviously my new hideout, but I'm going to try to find. I'm going to break into an unobtrusive box and see what's in it.
Okay. So I think this sounds like it should be a moment. Do you want to push for that yourself and set the achievement first?
Oh.
So the alternative to setting the the achievement first is that I'll set the consequence, and then
Okay.
you'll set the the consequence. Well, so if you prefer to go first, or for me to go first, I'm happy either way.
If you could go first, that would be lovely.
Okay. So I think the consequence here is that when you break open this box, the splinters will draw blood.
Okay. I think that the achievement is that I find something on the first mate.
Okay. Fantastic. So we have the option of going again, but again, might be best to keep things simple with a single achievement and single consequence now. Okay. So then you can select and re-roll both those dice. First, sorry, I forgot. We're going to create a satellite trait for you, unless you want to use one of your existing ones.
It seems like it would be sneaking about, but what is the benefit of creating an additional satellite trait rather than using sneaking about?
The benefit mechanically is that I guess when you're spending those points, those coins you have in any trait, they just come out one at a time or two at a time, really. But when you generate a new satellite trait, you spend, for every one you spend, you get 3, or if you spend 2, you get 5. So it's like you get more points when you generate more satellite traits.
Okay. Something like blackmail, but I can't quite figure out what it would be. Like, I find something that makes the first mate sympathetic to me, so, or likely to be sympathetic to me, so when I am inevitably found, I have an out.
So that's like what you're looking for, but like what's the
Yes.
trait that allows you to do that? Could be like, I don't know, you could say blackmailer. So maybe Punnett is used to being able to find leverage on people like this. So you could say
Yes.
blackmailer as a
Okay.
as a trait. And so then you take points out of either your core vulnerability or your core secret.
Vulnerability.
Okay. And then if you take 1 out, you end up with 3 in the new trait. If you take 2 out, you end up with 5 in the new trait. Okay.
Let's do 1. Okay.
Okay. So the next thing we do is we've done consequences, the consequence and the achievement, and then you're going to spend 2 out of that new trait, so 1 for each outcome, and then you're going to re-roll those 2 dice, and let's see what happens.
A 1 and a 5.
Okay, so I guess you get to decide which one is which.
I will say that the 5 is the achievement and the 1 is the consequence.
Okay. So you gain the achievement handily. When the moment closes, you add a coin to the satellite trait, and then the consequences happens with full force and generates another consequence with a 3. I guess we go around the table and see if anyone wants to spend coins to make things better or worse for you. Andrew?
I don't think I have a useful claim at the moment.
Okay. Shannon?
Just trying to see if there's a claim
Yeah.
that would work. Prevent an additional consequence on top of getting splintered up by the wood. As simple as the blood on the deck, this would be more blood on the deck and dealing with enough of that.
Yeah, that's certainly a possibility, right? If you're picking one as a consequence, right, it's probably there'll probably be some blood on the deck eventually. So you have one in that claim right now, which means
So if I spent it, it would go away.
yeah. So it doesn't go away. It becomes a floating claim, and then other people can claim it, or you can put reserve coins in when it's your turn to bring it back up. So sorry. So with one, you can reroll a die just like you did before, or you can push it one up or one down. You can add a new outcome. You can add new. Yeah, you need to spend 2 to add a new outcome with 3 or 4. So do you want to reroll or just bump it up?
How about we just bump it up so there's not an additional consequence?
Okay.
But there's still some blood from stealing.
So it'll become a 2. The consequence happens when the moment closes. Spend an additional coin out of the satellite trait. Yeah. Okay. So what do you think, Kim? Do you want to describe what you find? Some kind of blackmail on the first mate?
Yes. I want to find some secret stash of something he shouldn't have. He's bringing back to England, but I can't think of what you shouldn't bring back. Possibly religious artifacts? Like
some kind of plunder, off the books plunder, you know? I'm not sure.
What's bad luck to bring on a ship? Does anyone know?
Women.
Find a lady in the box.
No.
But I mean,
you can have both. You can have. There's someone like Kali. Kali is a goddess, isn't she? If it was religious artifacts of Kali.
Okay, the first mate went slightly native in his time in Calcutta, and is bringing back some small statuettes.
Okay. Okay. And yeah, so this splinter seems, wickedly sharp, right? And I think maybe it's something like when you open the crate, you don't get hurt, but it's like the shock of seeing this in here, and I guess the knowledge of how good this blackmail is, causes you to maybe lean on the side of the crate as you reach in, and then that's when the splinter gets you, and I think the blood. I think the blood kind of obviously drips down on the deck, but some of it also drips in on the gold. Any other details you want to add there? you said you wanted to kind of claim this as your layer, so that that's easy enough.
Yes.
Given that no one else was entering in the crew anyway. Okay. Any claims people want to make on that?
I was getting absorbed in the story. I'd been forgetting about claims.
I think someone should claim the statues.
I think you're lowest on claims, aren't you, Shannon?
I think we're all even, hey?
Oh, no, you're right.
The blood running down the deck has gone down to 0. So when you,
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So when you generate a new claim, you get two coins in it automatically.
I'd love to claim the statues if that's...
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Actually, can I go back a couple of scenes and take in subordination? Or is it too late now?
I can't remember. I certainly don't remember well enough to say no. It's too late. So go ahead.
The first mate was wandering out with a little bit of insubordination on his mind.
Yes,
Is that right?
Yes, yeah. So that was the outcome anyway. I expect to get an angry email from Nathan Pollard saying you cannot claim something from 5 scenes back.
Yes, but it's praise for the story.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, cool. So back to our doctor.
So just can I ask a question?
Sorry, yeah, go ahead.
Another mechanically?
Yep.
I gained the achievement handily, so I added a coin to the satellite trait.
Yeah.
And I had to spend an additional coin out of the satellite trait because of the consequence. So that's just a 0-sum game. Yes?
Let's double check. Yes. Yeah. I guess that is what happens when you get a 2 and a 5. They cancel each other out in terms of that. So yeah, you should be down to 1 on that. So okay. Cool. Dr. Billiam.
Okay.
Want to pick someone else to be your scene guide, or how do other people feel?
I would quite like to see how that works, but I think do you fancy it, Kim?
Sure. Do you have an
Wonderful.
idea for what kind of scene?
I do. I think Godfrey King, our patient, has somehow loosed his bonds, and I'm trying to find him. Doesn't seem to be on deck. Checking below deck, and I'm wondering what's waiting for me below decks.
A trail of dirt.
Dirt. Similar. That's my immediately. I'm thinking there was dirt in his vomit. That's a suspicious thing. I'm going to follow the trail. Follow the trail through the low ceilings of the underdecks. There must be a better word than underdecks, but you know where I mean.
It ends at the pigsty.
And do I see Godfrey King anywhere near the pigs?
Yes.
What's he doing?
He is once again unconscious.
In the pen, or
no, outside of to the side of the pen.
How are the pigs looking? Are they happy, anxious?
Pig-like. They're unconcerned.
Huh. Okay, I'm going to. So tracing down to our sailor. He's unconscious. Is he foaming at the mouth at all? Has that come back, or does he look peaceful? Actually, is he alive? Is he his first question?
Yes, he is alive. There's dirt around. There's some sort of stain on his face, but other than that, there's no foam. There's nothing to indicate he had another seizure.
Huh. So I think he's breathing. I'm okay with that. I'm gonna. But this dirt, it concerns me. Is it? I mean, what's the floor of the pig pen like? Does that seem like the same kind of dirt? Is it? I mean, is this just pig excreta he's been?
I don't have enough knowledge about how pigs actually live on ships.
I don't have enough to correct you.
Okay. I'm gonna say no.
Hmm.
The pigs have a more sort of hay-like. They're hay pigs.
Can I maybe interject, given that I own this Icor mud thing as one of my
Okay,
claims?
please.
Could I say maybe that the pigs would usually be very curious about someone who is like right next to their pig pen like this, but they seem to be avoiding him, or at least the this mud-like substance.
So yes, let's rewind and say that the pigs are pointedly on the other side of their pen.
Mysterious. I am.
What do you want to do with Godfrey now?
Honestly, I want to. I want to. I'm suddenly more interested in the pigs. I want to. So if I'm going to take a handkerchief and I'm going to mop up some of the dirt from the sailor's mouth. Try and get some of that off and see if I can chivvy the pigs around the pen with it. I realise I'm miming and you can't see it.
You know what? I'm going to say that. And then Godfrey makes a noise.
I turn around to see what's he doing.
Staring at you.
You're awake, King. How did you get out of here? How did you get out of the bonds? Straps, I should say.
I don't know. Where am I?
Below decks, King. Where's? I think this is a. This might be. Can I push this for a moment? I want to try and get him to recover his memory.
Sure.
This would be ooh. I'm going to play this out of everybody's friend, so I can try and charm it out of him. Does that sound right? That doesn't sound medical, does it?
I mean, bedside manner, right? That's
bedside manner. Yes, thank you. So yes, what's a consequence of me doing my unpracticed psychotherapy stuff?
Does it make sense? Asking the table, does it make sense that if you're more concerned about the information, you miss something and he, I don't know, dies? Like you want the information rather than to treat him medically? Or is that too severe?
Well, being the person who previously had this guy on the table about to die on the die roll, I don't think it's too severe.
Okay. I'm going to say the consequence is that King dies.
Of some mysterious condition that I've ignored. I like that. I do like that. So I don't think I don't want to put any more conditions and achievements in. Would you like to? Oh, do I roll though, or do we do the interference now? I roll now.
You roll before interference, yeah.
Okay.
Not sure why I said interference. It's always helping so far. We'll change that.
Somehow there are 4 dice on the table. Does that work?
We just clear them, and you can re-roll. You can roll another 2. Given that there's doubt over, there's 4 there. So you can just
there we go.
Plug it to, yeah, there you go.
1 and a 5. Wonderful. Do you know what? I think we may have exhausted King. I'm going to put the 1 in the consequence. But he will remember first, unless someone overclaims this. So
I'm comfortable with it. I'm not going to mess with I'm not going to do anything to your rolls.
Okay, you do get to add another consequence.
So on a 1 consequence, you get to generate another consequence, and you assign a 3 to it. So whatever seems to make the most sense, or maybe no sense at all. Maybe the doctor has caught this malady from his patient.
So I'm going to say that his hands become permanently stained. But I'm also like, I could also just give you crippling guilt, if that makes more sense. And no, you know what? Crippling guilt.
There's so much to choose from.
Let's go for crippling guilt. But in his last dying breath, King gasps out that somebody led him here. Somebody undid the straps and led him here.
Do we have more coins?
No, I'm not gonna intervene.
Okay.
So that 5 adds one of the 2 that you would have spent from that satellite trait.
Wonderful. So there's somebody. So either one of the say is. So okay. So I'm going to ask as he's dying. I want to say one of the crew. And do I?
You think it started with an A, but it was sort of a.
It might just have been Okay.
Like,
and
I'm
that's the
trying
point
to
where I realize he's
throw
dying.
light shade on Andrew, but not conclusive shade. It could also
Fair
be
enough.
Moses Agar or a death gurgle.
Excellent. Thank you. So I'm down to 4 on that. I'll put in my moments and captain my captain. Thank you, Kim.
Okay. Yeah, it's good. Can I get you to be my guide for the next scene, Andrew, again?
Yes. So let me just add crippling guilt to my consequences. Thank you very much. What do you have your scene in mind?
I think the captain is. We have weathered the storm, and we've started to. I guess we are knocking along at a low rate of knots as we do some repairs. And the captain is out taking a walk along the deck, and I think he overhears someone talking about the kind of mutinous things that the first mate has been saying. Maybe not mentioning Fitch by name, but just repeating the things that have been said.
So it's like it's so with top deck, but there's over the noise. The guys are fixing something, hammering away, so they don't hear you coming nearby.
Yeah, perfect.
And I need a name. And Percival leans across to whoever's next to him and is saying, he was like, a story. Did you hear about the bounty? He said. Did you hear about the He was talking about the once they got rid of the captain, they got their own island. It was. And he notices you and goes, excellent book.
So yeah, I think the captain, walks right over to him, almost stepping on his feet, and says, "Stand up, sailor."
And he does, not meeting your eyes. Say, yes, sir.
What was that?
Sir, yes, sir.
No, what you were saying before, sailor. Don't be cheeky with me.
About the book, sir. The HMS Bounty. Am I massively?
Do you expect me to believe that you can read?
I can listen, sir.
Well, who told you this tale? Come on, cough it up now, and there'll be no more repercussions for you.
Fitch, sir. He was. Sir, Fitch, sir.
So, not sure whether I want to push for a moment to upbraid the sailor or go straight for Fitch. What do you think?
I think you actually just got the achievement you get out of this sailor, wouldn't you?
That's true. I guess I will tell him to carry on, and I will off to find my first mate, my loyal first mate.
You had Fitch before, Shannon. Do you want him back?
I'm sure. Captain?
So yeah, okay.
Yes, too.
Fitch, I just overheard a most unsettling piece of scuttlebutt.
What was that, sir?
That you had dreams of your own command of an island, it was said.
Don't know what that's about, sir. Good to see you about, though, sir.
I think the captain is going to lose the rag at that piece of impertinence. So, I think I am going to I think I'm going to go for a moment on this one. I'm going to fearsome tempers is there sitting there ready for me to unveil. So I think I'll go for that. I guess I am going to claim the respect, if not the fear, of First Mate Fitch, as my achievement.
Okay, but as a consequence, it may take doing violence to the man.
Okay.
Whether that's whips or
okay, something probably contrary to regulations. In the
yes,
East India Company, we're not in the Royal Navy.
something that would something that might even increase resentment against such a mean captain.
Yeah, obviously.
Mean, brutal.
Brutal.
What's that, my play school?
I mean, Captain Bligh, a fine service officer. It is known.
Yes, I'm also thinking, wasn't that after this? Am I massively asynchronous here?
I am not sure.
I'll look it up at the end of the game.
Yeah, we will apologize to the seafaring aficionados out there who are screaming at us for getting this also wrong. Okay, so I'll reduce my fearsome temper to 1. Yeah, and I think I'll roll now. Okay, that's a 2 and a 3, so that's going swimmingly. Okay, well, I think yeah, I think I'm going to spend a coin in my claim, the loyalty of the men, to bump the 3 to a 4. I'll put that in the achievement, and I will let the consequence at a 2. I think Fitch sees it's obviously just the lamplight in whatever area of the kind of the corridors that we have met in, or the kind of common cabin we've met in. But the kind of fire is glinting in the captain's eyes as he confronts Fitch. Okay, anyone else spending on that? Oh, okay. So,
oh, hang on, maybe. No, I'm going to save the insubordination coins for later.
Really? So regains respect / fear of Fitch with a 4, and resorts to violence. Right, that was the consequence. With a 2. Sorry, Andrew, that was the consequence, right? He resorts to
yes.
undue violence or discipline. Yeah, okay.
Something visible, something that will cause sympathy for Fitch, if not even if he is on your side, or respectful and fearful, rather.
Okay, something maybe you're feeling like it is outright violence, or maybe it's something like stripping him of his rank.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Yeah. I'll change that to undue discipline because that's like something a captain shouldn't be doing, where there's some kind of board of officers or whatever, and will generate a lot of sympathy for Fitch inside the crew. Okay.
Wonderful.
Okay, so back around to Lady Caroline. And I think we're coming up on 2 hours in, and after this scene, we'll take a break for 10 minutes or so, and then we'll jump back in. That sounds all right.
Good. Kim, how would you feel about framing?
I'd be delighted. Did you have a moment in mind?
So one of the moments was about whether Lady Caroline can walk on the deck. So my thought was that she is now going to take a walk on the deck in the wake of everything that's happened, and it's not. So the suggestion was that Fitch would have stopped her, even though the captain said, "Okay, what I'd like to do is maybe the newly promoted second mate, Trap, is actually now the one who stops Lady Caroline from having kind of freedom of walking the ship." So it was
Okay.
or tries to. So that's my thought.
Sounds good. So why do you go out on the deck?
I'm feeling like I'm used to taking a daily walk to get some fresh air. Just feeling kind of trapped down below.
So I think that you get maybe like 15 paces from your cabin and someone steps in your path. Ma'am?
And who is it?
It's Trap.
It's her.
It's the new first mate, all puffed up on his exciting new status.
Oh, excuse me, Mr. Trap. I was just about to take my constitutional along the deck.
I don't think that would be a good idea. You should return to your cabin, ma'am.
Is there inclement weather? It looked fine to me. Then I shall like to proceed as I did under Mr. Fitch's watch.
I don't think that would be a good idea, ma'am.
Why not?
At least one, no, like 2 sailors have come to sort of watch this.
Sorry, one of those sailors, that's young Bowen, and you can see glinting at his belt is that strange knife from with a design from an Indian pattern.
When I came on board, the captain has offered me freedom of the ship. I would like to continue if there's no danger.
I'm totally getting up in your face. I'm not touching you. Like,
Yeah.
I still have that. Just, I'm much larger. I have 2 other men with me.
It's like we're coming out of
you need to return to your cabin.
I don't understand why. Please, sir, tell me.
It would be best for everyone were you to return to your...
I'd like to speak with the captain first.
The captain's busy, ma'am.
I am happy to go and talk with him at his cabin. He has offered me to come and visit him at a moment. So please let me pass. I think we're at kind of a moment.
Yeah. So now that we've come to a moment, we're defining consequence and...
Yeah,
yes?
so, and the other thing is you have the option of creating a new satellite trait. But yeah, and then defining, I guess, given that Shannon is like seizing that moment, she gets to define her achievement first.
And so yeah, kind of my immediate achievement would just be to have the freedom to walk, but I think it's a little bit more intangible than that I want to make certain that I've still got this power that I don't have to listen to the sailors, that I can go as I please. So maybe like freedom of movement. Does that make sense?
It seems like that. There you have. So you've got the vulnerability. I'm never in control of the situation. Are we playing on that?
Yeah, I think so. I think maybe a satellite trait coming off of that. Let me think about this.
It's something about achieving permission, isn't it? It's about even though I'm not in control, I can still get my way through the situation.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to call it something like her ladyship. Like there's just something like I can kind of try to, even though I'm in a subservient position in society, can maneuver my way around and still have some of that control.
I quite
think
like
it's
her
like
ladyship.
class privilege.
I just call it her ladyship, which is the class privilege. Yeah, I agree. Sorry, tell me again how I took the.
So, however many points you're willing to take out of the vulnerability, I guess is where it comes from. You put one and double that into the satellite trait that you're generating. So if you take one out of your core trait, it's 3, and if you take 2 out, it's 5.
Oh, okay, so I need to take it out up here though, right? Okay, so I got it. I think. Okay, I'm going to take one out. My core trait. I took it out of here instead, which I shouldn't have that. So 3.
And now I define the consequence.
Yeah.
The consequence is that you get escorted back to your cabin, and young Bowen is tasked with standing there to make sure you don't leave.
Yikes.
So, like, if both of those happen, is this that subsequently she gets the freedom to walk, even if she was? They seem to be working a little bit against each other.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
I see. Let's see.
Could it be that Bowen's assigned to kind of shadow me, or like I have to always walk with him?
You get a
Here's
chaperone.
The patriarchy.
Yeah.
You have to have a chaperone. Thank you.
He's about 14 as well. So
Yes. So yeah, the insult of that is, like that's it goes against the class person. Okay, so then I roll now, right?
Yeah.
Ooh. All right. 1 and a 2.
Oh.
Not going well. Let me see. I want to do that. Well, that means I ain't walking around. I'll put the 1 into the achievement and the 2 into the consequence.
So anyone interfering with that, with their claims?
I think I will. I think I've got the knife as a claim, so I'm going to bring that down. I'm going to bring that down by a coin. Roll the achievement, because Bowen is quite excited about the idea of wandering around with a glamorous older woman. Being a 14-year-old boy as he is.
That's a very low bar.
So that's the 1, right?
For the achievement was I put the 1.
So I'm going to re-roll that.
All right.
To a 5.
Oh,
And you can see him sort of holding his little knife and puffing his little chest out. I'm going to be in charge of someone.
All right, so that goes up to a 5.
Okay.
Cool.
And so the 2 and the 5s cancel each other out in terms of the gain and loss, and so you just lose 2 out of that instead for spending. So
Sorry, I lose 2 out of.
Yeah, so you spend 2 out of her ladyship.
Yeah.
Initially to get get those dice rolling, so it's down to a 1.
Got it.
Okay.
Well, I suppose if I'm going to have a companion, perhaps you could hold my parasol.
Oh. Yes, Mum.
So I think now is a good time to take a break. I have 12 minutes past, so we say 25 past. We'll come back.
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
Okay, I'll see you then. Welcome back, everyone. We are going to jump forward to the next act into the confrontation stage. Scene-wise and structurally, this act works pretty much the same as we did before. We're going to have moments following our characters around the place, but now we're starting to build towards some kind of final confrontation with the vampire. Before we kind of jump in, we have some opportunity to kind of consolidate some claims. So we can, if we want, spend reserve points to bolster our remaining claims, or we can just move around stuff we wanted. So, for example, if I decide that the ship's rigging isn't really interesting to me, I can just take 2 of those points out and put them somewhere else. Similarly, I think Shannon, you've got blood running down the deck, but it's 0 right now, so it's floating. So we'll give you a chance to bolster that if you want to pass that off to someone else. I'm sure someone will jump on it.
To keep it. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, so you can either move points between your existing claims and it, or you can just take stuff out of your reserve to bolster it. We can also spend points from our reserve to bump up some of our traits, to keep them a little bit head above water. Those don't spend 1 for 1 though, so but we'll get to that. I am not interested in protecting my core traits because I kind of want to see one of them hit 0. So I'm going to spend all 3 of my reserves, and I'm going to bump up black equal to 3 and bump up the loyalty of the men to 3. So I'm gonna, I don't care about this captain. I don't really like him.
I've
Go, Andrew.
I was going to say I've knocked all the points out of longing for home because no one seems to be, and it's back in the knife and in insubordination.
Okay, cool. Kim, how about you?
I am more interested in sharks and pigs and my secret than I am in stern authority or my reserve, I think. But I'm not. I think I need help mechanically understanding that.
Yeah, so so there's a couple of things. One is, let me just read ahead because I want to make sure I get the maths correct. Blah, blah. Yeah, so you spend 1 plus whatever number you're thinking of from your reserves to raise a satellite trait. So 1 plus X to raise it from X to 1 plus X. So you have to spend 3 points to raise a satellite trait from 2 to 3. So basically what you're bringing it to. To raise a core trait, you need to spend 2 plus whatever number. So to raise a core trait from 2 to 3, you need to spend 4. So if you've got something at 1, you're raising it to 2, you need to spend 3. Okay. So it's less straight, or it's more expensive to raise something the more important it is. Claims, though, are kind of super powerful, or you can basically burn them. You can permanently get rid of a claim to make them doubly effective. So I know before, if we were spending 1, we were nudging at 1, but this time for every 1 you spend, you get double the benefits if you're willing to burn it all in one go. So you can really cause a lot of havoc with claims in this stage.
So the one had like sharks have not showed up yet at all.
Yeah. So somehow we've avoided blood in the water, right? And so I guess it's we as the rest of the table are kind of now, like, if you say, oh, I'm going to keep sharks, then we should really try to put some in the water, right? But if you take those points out of sharks and put them somewhere else, then we're kind of going to ignore that. So I think we just have to be a bit cognizant now that we want to. I guess the other thing is, if you have a claim, you can insert it if it's fictionally, at all feasible. So if if we're stopping by an island to pick up fresh water or something like that.
I think that I'm going to.
I think you've frozen.
Oh, sorry. How are people? Okay, I think my Zoom just crashed. That's what happened.
So we didn't hear like the last 4 things you said.
Sorry. So where was I? I was saying, if depending on whether you keep or drop a claim, we're going to be, I guess, need to be much more cognizant of having that claim become effective. So we can keep, if you're not interested in sharks, you can say, oh, I'm not interested in sharks, and we don't care about it. But if you still are interested in sharks, we better put someone in a position where sharks become much more meaningful to the story. Okay.
I'm keeping sharks.
Okay. How about you, Shannon? Are you interested in blood on the deck, or
I am.
Okay.
so out of the reserve is 1 for 1.
It's 1 for 1 into a claim? Yeah.
All right. So,
is there any point in saving reserve at this point?
There is, because we can spend that at the end of a turn. So if your secret core trait or whatever takes a hammering with an outcome, you can try to bolster that. So it's still a reserve. You can still spend it if you need to. Okay. So back to extra rules. So in this phase, we do not. So in any moment, we don't create new satellite traits anymore. We're stuck with our existing ones. The other difference is if the scene guide pushes the moment instead of you seizing it, they can specifically target a secret that they can specifically say they're going, this is going to be about a secret, or this is going to be about a vulnerability. They can basically target one of those 2 traits, and you have to respond with with either a satellite trait or a core trait in that category. Also, any moment that involves the presence of the vampire starts with a free consequence of you give in to the vampire, which has extra consequences later on. At the moment, or sorry, when it first happens, it doesn't mean that you fully give in or anything like that. It generally speaking just generates hold that the vampire has over you. And that's something that also happens if your vulnerability hits 0. And the last thing is we cannot make any new claims. Okay. I've already mentioned sacrificing a claim.
I missed that last statement. I don't know if anyone else is freezing.
It got robotic.
Okay. I also
So we can't get new claims. What was before that?
Sacrificing claims, and the thing before that was you can no longer make new claims. Before that was about the vampire. Did you get that bit? Any moment that, or any scene that.
Cool. This was.
Oh, back to roboting.
Just as you started.
Okay.
Say the good part. So.
Okay. Let me just see what's happening. Okay, I've closed down a couple of things. Hopefully that makes a bit of a difference. I'm going to blame OneDrive syncing. Suddenly it's decided it wants to check all my files. Maybe that's it.
Better OneDrive than the ship sinking.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. So where was I? Any scene with the vampire in it, there's going to be like a free consequence of you give in to the vampire. So the vampire is going to start getting hold over people in that regard. So you won't spend it. You won't spend for it with a coin out of your trait, but you will roll a die for it. And we'll get to that, I guess, if it happens. I think that is all the major differences. Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about how the vampire shows up?
So we can just introduce. I mean, we could have introduced the vampire in Act 1. Maybe we did. We can just whoever either the main character or the scene guide can just introduce the vampire. Maybe not just hints anymore, but an actual thing, an actual person. So just like a normal NPC who enters the scene. So it's completely kind of freewheeling. It's up to whoever is playing in the scene. Does that all make sense?
Mostly.
I guess we'll see. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So, do we want to continue in the same order? So, who did we leave with? We left with the lady. So, the stowaway next. Do you want anyone specific to be the scene guide on this?
Is anyone interested in introducing the vampire, especially?
I mean,
Donna.
I think we know what's in one of those boxes, right?
That is yes. I am in my hidey hole, and I would like my scene to involve my hidey hole and meeting the vampire.
Okay, let's go there. So, yeah, I think maybe you've made a bit of a a loose bed or pallet with some packing material in whatever space you can free up. Maybe you're sleeping a little bit fitfully, maybe warily because you're in a new location. But it's the dead of night, maybe the hours before dawn, when you hear some movement in the corner, and that's definitely not rats, right? You know what rats lurking in the corners of a hold or a room sound like.
It's probably pitch dark in here, isn't it?
I'm sure, yeah.
I can't imagine I have a light source. I'm going to try to sort of, I don't know if you can Scrabble stealthily, but like I wake up and I am not down with being in the dark with a weird noise and attempt to make for the door, but quietly. I don't want anyone coming to investigate, nor do I want whatever's in here.
So is this a do I get out in time, or do I stay secret kind of moment?
So we went.
I heard, do you get out in time? Then there's an or.
Oh, sorry. Look like my internet is playing havoc with me tonight. So I was wondering, is getting out before this thing erupts what you're looking for, or is this more like a keep your presence here secret?
Keep my presence here secret. This might be my imagination playing tricks on me. And okay. I know that I've sort of lost track of time, but I think I've heard people going back and forth in the corridor or in the below decks and don't want to just emerge out into them.
Okay, and I think the consequence maybe this thing, we just call it the vampire, right? The vampire marks you somehow. Maybe leaves a handprint on you, something like that.
Could the achievement be it leaves the room without bothering me? I am not interesting enough prey and it leaves the room to go hunt for better prey?
Yeah. Those two, I think, could coexist in a very interesting way, right?
Yes.
Okay. And obviously, given that there's a vampire in the scene, we have a consequence of you give in to the vampire. So that would be 3. So you're going to pay for 2 of those, and the third one is free. So which trait do you think works best? Sneaking about, maybe?
I think sneaking about, yes.
Okay. So you can pay 2 out of that, and then let me add 1 die to the room. Okay. So there's 3 dice there now, and you get to re-roll them all.
A 1, a 3, and a 5. So I'm picking 2 consequences and 1 achievement?
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm sorry, the two consequences are he marks
Uh,
me.
He marks you and you give in to him.
Okay. I'm going to say the one for he marks me. The 3 that I give into and the 5 for
And I think Donna might be for
I didn't catch the last bit of that. So the
one
one
for the
he marks
mark,
you, yeah.
3 for the given, and 5 for the I'm not interesting enough prey.
Okay. Anyone want to spend claims on that?
Where does that leave you? That leaves you being marked, and you're. See what?
I think it's kind of starting to give in to him. Not to the fullest possible extent.
Is that something you'd like us to prevent?
I think narratively it's going to be kind of interesting.
Okay. In that case, let's be interesting.
Okay. So giving in to him, you'll see right underneath the character description, there's a section called holes, and there's some tick boxes there. So you check one of those. That is the hold the vampire has over you. So that basically means that if you eventually become vulnerable to the vampire, that kind of hold that he has over your character is going to be much stronger. I think the vampire looks, at you and kind of weighs, put it up in his icy stare, and knows exactly what Punnett can do for him. And the mark he leaves on Punnett's arm, I think, is what other characters may recognize as this kind of bloody soil mark that no amount of washing will undo. But I think in consequence, right, the vampire, creeps out of the room, closing it behind him, and leaving Punnett's hiding place still secret. Does that make sense? Okay. So next up is the doctor.
I lost the know again, but next I'm going to go and see Fitch. So I'd like Shannon, if that's all right.
Sure.
Or is he just confined to quarters? Where do we think he ended up?
I say confined to quarters, possibly under guard, but this is an officer didn't get put into.
I would
confined to quarters. Trap, is that you? Doesn't sound. Who is there?
It's Billingham, the doctor. What? I I need to ask you about King.
The door opens very suddenly as soon as you say King. And get in here then.
In we go. Closing the door behind. King, he died with what I think was your name on his lips. Did you release him from my table? Come on, man. Simple yes or no.
Yes, I did.
For God's sake, man, why?
At that moment, he was suffering more under your care than he would be free. There are others that could care for him better on this ship.
The only ones caring for him right now are the sharks. Sharks.
Well, perhaps if you had not interfered, he would have gotten where he needed to go.
Who are you finding on this ship that cares more about medicine than I do?
I didn't say medicine, did I? Ways to heal a body outside of the medical profession, doctor.
What are you talking about, Fitch?
Are you sure you want to know?
I'm a man of science, Fitch. It sounds horribly like you're talking about something other.
I could show you something.
I am so likely to be tempted in by that. Show me what?
You'd have to see it. And you have to swear that you'll follow me, not the captain. I think he can't show you what I can show you, but if you want to see, so I think Fitch is going to try to tempt you to see if you want to see something that will basically blow your science mind. I can show you.
Are you pushing?
Yeah.
Okay. So what's my consequence? Oh, well, actually, which core trait are you? Am I doing this right? Good, Donna.
Yeah, so Shannon decides whether she's aiming at the secrecy or vulnerability, and then it has to be answered either by the core trait or a satellite trait.
I don't know your secret.
No, that's fine, but it's you know what my vulnerability is?
I do.
That or the
yes.
other?
Yes. So yeah, no,
the more you push on the secret, the more likely it is I have to reveal it.
Yeah, and I'm going to try to push because there's some reason you want to. You're awake at night, thinking about your patient.
Okay.
And I think you might want to know about more than what you've studied.
Okay, that means I have to roll with everybody's friend. But yeah, damn it, King was as close as I have to a friend on this ship. Fine. Show me what you'll show me. Whatever it takes. So your consequence is
the consequence for the doctor here with Fitch is that he would become I think what Fitch is trying to push is get his loyalty with Fitch rather than the captain. But also just from the scene, consequences that the doctor has to see something that might go beyond his scientific knowledge. So it's something, there's kind of one that's more practical for what's going on the ship, and the other is more really personal, is kind of pushing you beyond.
Takes the bargain. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that. Okay. So my achievement then. Oh dear. Because I kind of want to know as well. Um, oh, I am. If anybody has ideas to throw at me, please do. But no, I think all I can think of is so Fitch is going to show me something that will knock me will knock my sights away. I guess in some ways I realize something great, some way in which I can use that, some practical application of what you're showing me.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, is there something like Fitch is trying to push, like this is something that goes beyond your scientific understanding, but maybe it actually isn't. There is something scientific in there. Like you find something you can use with it. So
yeah, let's go with that. That's so I roll. Oh, so do you is the vampire here, and who decides if we do another set of conditions?
The active player decides if you want to go for another
in that case,
achievement.
I had enough trouble thinking of this one. So,
unless Shannon, you're saying that the thing Fitch is showing the doctor is the vampire, then I'm not sure.
it's not going to be the vampire.
Okay.
Vampire adjacent.
That might be enough. That's my clear. Did that work? Can you see dice? I don't see any dice. There we are.
I see a 1 and a 3.
There we go. No, they just arrived. So that's not great. I am. I'm going to put the 1 in the achievement and the 3 in the consequence. Okay. So I am absolutely not going to understand, as it stands, what I see. Coins.
Anyone going to shift that up or down?
1 and a 3 seem bad enough to me already. Let's leave it there.
Surely you want to help me. Your favorite doctor.
Our only doctor, but
that doesn't negate the truth.
So then Fitch, who surprisingly still has some freedom of movement at the ship, so you kind of, for whatever reason, some people turn away and just let him walk by. I would say he takes you down to an area that's, can I just go into Puneet's hideaway? Puneet got away, right? And if it's not good to go to the hideaway, we can go somewhere nearby. It's just fine.
Well, let's ask Kim.
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe it's the Kim, but I think if the room is gone into, I think Puneet's hideaway has to be like not seen, right? Because we established that in the previous scene.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
So I probably won't then. So Puneet would know that we're somewhere nearby, perhaps. But what Fitch is going to show you is a room where you see King, even though you have a memory of his body going into the water.
King, how could actually that's probably just a horror in the scene, isn't it? But thank you.
And then for the consequence happens and not to its fullest extent. Is that where we ended up? So you didn't find it. So the achievement didn't happen in terms of like finding something
Yeah, I have
scientific.
no
and
idea
that
of how
the
to
plan
use
was-
this.
Yeah, but you're not. So you might be kind of on the surface where it's like agreeing with Fitch, but you're not fully.
Oh no, I'm inclined. I think if that's the bargain, I'm now inclined your way. I know I'm just not prepared to die for the cause yet.
Yes, that sounds good. That makes sense. Cool. Thanks.
Yeah, nice. Captain scene. Do you have any good ideas? Does anyone want to jump in as a scene guide for me?
I think I've done you already, but I'll do it if you like.
Okay. Do you have any ideas? I'm not sure I have one.
Well, what are you looking for at the moment? Your ship is seemingly in state. Are you maybe
I think maybe, given that maybe the weather has passed, it might be time to do some repairs, right? So maybe I'm
that's true. Our mast is still damaged.
supervising the repair of the mast, and maybe some of us have to go down into the hold to get some supplies for those repairs. So yeah, I think I should be in some dark corridor or some dark gaps.
Yeah, in fact, I mean, there's some of the things we need. They're precious. They're under lock and key, and only the captain has the key.
Yeah, sounds good.
So as we go down into the storeroom, who do you have with you? The new mate?
Yeah, I think they're a trap, right? And I think one of the sailors called Hogg is our carpenter, so he will be going down with us.
Okay. So between Trap and Hogg, you've got it's enough company. There's and Hogg is holding a lantern to guide the way a little bit. But as you're nearing the stores, something goes wrong, and you hear him swear and drop the lantern as it used to burn in, and the light just goes. So you're deep in the hold, no light, and you can hear the snuff. You can hear the snuffling of pigs nearby. There are a couple of bulkheads along, but they're noisy creatures. And Trap says, "Oh, gonna get that lantern lit. But gonna get that lantern lit, Hogg. Can't be down here like this. Doesn't feel right."
So I think the captain grabs the lantern out of Hogg's ham-fisted awkwardness and starts to kind of coax it back into life. I think maybe, I mean, he's known for having a fine hand and an analytical mind.
You can say, you can feel that the lantern is slick, like the oil's leaked. This might not be the best idea.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna push it. I'm gonna find a way to make this work. Am I seizing that moment?
Oh yes, it's certainly, yeah. I mean, is this? Yes, I don't see why not. So
what could possibly go wrong?
Well, it sounds very much like your achievement is light and your consequence is boom.
Yeah,
But, Are there guns on this ship? I don't know.
East Indiamen generally had some, but very lightly armed.
Okay, good to know.
In respect to their size, anyway. Not a warship might see off something in a convoy, which we are not. But yes, there'd be a powder store most probably down here somewhere. I was thinking more along the lines of the moment being to get all of the stores we need, but maybe I will say
right. Sorry, I was thinking this might be a bit small, but yeah, getting the equipment.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'd be happy to say, like, fixing the lamp is one, and I can spend to get all the stores back up on deck, like we were looking for.
Oh, so we're doing one of the two rounds, two achievements,
exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
If that doesn't put you on the spot to think of two consequences.
Actually, do you know? I think if the traditionally, what would happen here is that you would light the lantern, and there would be another face in the darkness.
Yeah.
So, can I do that? Or is that the free one? I have to think of another one still.
That would be one consequence, and you would have to think of another one. Yeah.
Oh, so we've got so far as you light the lantern, find the goods. Nothing's on, and then the consequences are something's on fire, and there is and the vampire is there.
Okay.
So I need a fifth one.
Yeah.
Cool. What should be so the first consequence is that the vampire gets trapped, and the free consequence is that you give in.
Yeah. And something is
get
on fire.
The hang of this.
Something is on fire is the other consequence. Okay.
Yes.
So I'm rolling 5 dice. Okay.
Yes.
Oh, well, that's a good roll.
All sixes.
Not quite. A 3, 3 4s, and a 6. So let me think. I think okay. So the 6 is going to go on the achievement of getting the stores. The 4 is going to go on the lamp lighting. 1 4 is going to go on me avoiding giving into the vampire. 1 4 is going to go on the ship going on fire or something going on fire. And poor Trap. I mean, it's not good luck to be a first mate aboard the Auspicious.
It's the drummer position, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well,
and sorry,
traits,
because
what claims?
You will also.
Oh, you got a 6, yes.
Yeah, you'll also get to generate another another outcome with a 4 on it.
Do I do that, or do you? If it's your achievement, is it not you that does that?
I think it's you, but maybe it's me. I don't know. The active player. Oh, sorry, this is me.
Otherwise, I just give you a, and you find a duck.
I mean, that could be the saving of us. What I think, I think Hogg will kind of report back, the captain's, steely resolve and skill, and it will be like about it will kind of play against the mutinous talk. Does that make sense?
Okay, yeah, it totally does. And I'm going to use an insubordination point to bring that back, to bring that one to 3.
Yeah. Okay.
Would anybody else like to spend some coins on our hapless captain?
What did you bring down to 3?
He's not going to get the reputation out of it that he wants.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay, so that is how we put this. Hogg reports on the captain's skill, but it's a 3. So okay, and that generates a shed load of coins from my reserve, I think. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So yeah, I think that's the end of that scene. I mean, in terms of how it ties up, maybe Trap is the one who sees the vampire's face in the darkness. The other two,
and the Wilhelm scream as he's disappeared away.
Well, it was a 3, right? So I don't think he's quite gobbled up, but I think maybe he strays off camera, and then when we see him again later, he's a little bit shaken, right?
A strange wound, strange marks.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool. Okay. So, the Lady Caroline.
So I had an idea, and I was thinking that perhaps walking with young Bowen, they've become close. So Andrew, would you mind framing a scene with young Bowen and the lady? What I'm thinking is perhaps she can sense something's wrong with Bowen.
Sure. Okay. So where do you think? Walking the deck on your honest constitutional you fought so hard for?
Yes.
And cool. So maybe even a whale in the distance. And Bowen says, "That's a whale, Lady Catherine. That's a whale. Captain would be so delighted to see that, and he's not here.
Oh, shame.
He'll be so jealous. He will, miss. But you'll have to tell him.
I will at dinner. Yes.
Yes, and I told you about it. Yeah.
Yes. You've been great company, Bowen.
Oh, you're too sweet, miss. I'll treasure that. So what do you want to do? Where do you want to go with this? With today's what? There's can't watch whales forever, can you?
No. So we I suppose we should continue towards the bow of the ship. Hey.
I'm the bow, miss. I'm not. See the bow. That's where it's you not feel it gets a bit spooky up by the bow, miss? There's like a bad feeling up there.
Is there?
See, that's where that was King's Station. Miss, that's where he was before he started getting sick. Miss, and now and then when the trap found him there, and now he's all pale. And do we have to, miss?
Let's go together.
Right, so you can see him like clutching his little knife for courage. Still putting its knife, but we'll get it back at some point. Because all right, miss, I'll protect you.
Well done. I think Lady Caroline can kind of control a little bit where you're going, even though, and tries to make sure we actually walk, because she was there when she and the doctor were helping King, and she knows exactly where it was, to kind of walk us by that spot.
And weirdest thing, there's grime on the floor, like almost like dirt on the floor by the mast where King was. It's the floor's been swabbed. It shouldn't be there. The deck has been swabbed. So this shouldn't still be there, but it's sort of
No one's
marked
cleaned
out.
this. No one's cleaned this recently.
It's been cleaned. It's been swabbed daily. It's told you it was spooky, miss. We keep the decks as clean as we can, but this just ain't coming.
Getting all over my skirt. Well, come on, let's clean it for me, please. I can't walk through this. Be a good lad.
Sure. I will. He's being an obedient sort. He's going to scamper away. Leave you alone for a while.
Is there anyone else around?
Everyone thinks that. Well, I mean, there's probably people moving around the deck, but they know you're being watched by Bowen. They're not paying any mind. Well, even if he is scampering away for a bucket. So with your freedom,
I'm going to take a closer look at what's going on. I'm not afraid of blood. I'm not afraid, I say myself, of this dirt. Take a closer look at it.
So you're trying to find out a bit more about it. Does that feel momenty to you?
Yeah, could do.
I don't know what your secret is, but it feels like you kind of are in control here. So I think I'm going to push for the secret. What's a Is that fair? Is that right? Am I doing that right?
I think so.
Yeah, if you don't know what the secret is, you're attacking the satellite one that you can see, right?
Okay, control the conversation. Okay, that's not quite right. Oh,
I'm so happy for the moment to be something when Bowen comes back as well.
Yeah, let's do that then. That would work.
I think when he comes back, I would say I can see he's still just very, very scared. And
yes. So
I'd like to, Bowen, please tell me what troubles you so much. If we can push that as a moment.
Okay, so your achievement is something like to get the information out of him that he thinks is true.
Yes.
Okay. Then I think the when you say it's getting on your skirts, I think your consequence is going to be something like that. You are effectively marked for the vampire, in the way that Punit already has been.
Okay.
Would you like to add another achievement?
I would like to just like if it maybe whether or not I get what I feel is the truth out of Bowen, to feel like I really have his loyalty after that point.
Is that, what do you think? Do we think that is the same one? Because that way, if it's the full of everything he knows, that might be the part of the same thing. What do other people think?
They feel different to me.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I can also see him not saying, but deciding he is loyal to Lady Caroline, you know.
Sure.
But
okay.
withholding something, right? Yeah.
Right. It could be faux protectiveness, withholding.
Yeah.
Yes, I get that. Okay, so the other consequence then is that he ends up reporting you. Who's next after Trap?
Going down the list, who was the quickest when we started?
Trap still might be
he's still competent. Yeah. Okay. So the other consequence is that he's going to take it to Trap. He's going to take it to Trap, and you might find yourself further restrained than you have been.
That's good. So am I rolling 4 dice? Am I rolling 4, right?
That's 4, yeah.
All right, and we're rolling, I think, hold on. At least 4, so ignore that 3.
If you click on one and then you can delete it. If you delete selected for one, and then you can just re-roll.
Okay. All right, then this is why re-roll was a 2, 3, 3, and a 5. I think the right window.
Okay. So, how do you want them?
Yeah, I'm just thinking about that. So 2, 3, 3, 5. So I think for getting the truth out of him, I'm going to put the 2. So 2 for that achievement. 3. I think these are going to be against each other. 3 for the consequence of getting marked. 3 for the other achievement, so of getting his full. So sorry, 2 for getting the full 2, 3 for both of the consequences, and a 4 for getting his loyalty.
Okay. So coins. Loyalty. So loyalty is a success. So as it stands, he's going to report to Trap as kind of a form of loyalty. You're going to get marked, and you don't get the full information.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think I have a claim on the loyalty of the men, and I think he is loyal to someone else entirely. So I'm going to spend 2 and push that down by 2.
All
right. Kim, would you like to spend? Oh,
no, I think Don has done enough.
Ouch.
Yeah. See, I think I'm not trying to win this, am I? We're trying to tell a story together. So I think I'm going to spend one on the Calcutta knife, with which Bowen is going to be scraping at the dirt before he cleans it. Basically taking a little bit of the deck up with this on. So this stuff, miss, and sort of passing it to you on the blade. It's all over the ship, miss. It's not just the deck. As you see him thinking, I'm going to use that as a. Oh, that was a 3, was it? The telling the truth.
That was out of 2.
Okay, then I'm going to re-roll that 2, and I see no dice here, so I'm going to roll a single d6, which is going to replace the 2. Hang on, no. If I do that, I do see them. I do see them.
What did you roll? I didn't see.
It became a 3, so it's still a failure, but it's a bit less of a failure. And you can still spend coins if you want. It's when we go around a full loop.
Oh, I can't spend coins, right?
You can spend coins.
Oh, I can. Have anything?
I think, right, Don?
I mean, you can spend coins to, so like a dark secret or blood running down the deck. Seem.
Yeah.
And way back when there was a whale mentioned, right? So.
Yes, that's true. I've got the captain's whale book about that. I found spend a coin against dark secret. Like, oh, and I've seen stuff like this before. I know it's not a good sign. Please tell me everything you know about it. And then does that mean I reroll?
So depending on how you do, remember
I can move it up 1.
You can move it up 1 per point you spend, or you could burn. You could like destroy the claim entirely, and you get double effect. So you could bump a 3 to a 6 if you wanted to. But if you bump it by 2, it's 5, and it's you're not getting too much more out of a 6 than you are out of 5 at this stage.
Okay, then I'm just going to bump it up to a 5. So then I think at that point,
I think we're there.
Lady Caroline's just sharing with you a dark secret that she's been exposed to things like this in the past.
Yes, and as you do this, you can see the marks are there. There's that grime on your hand, on the heels of your hands, and just miss. It's you're right. It's not good. I've seen it, but you know where I've seen it. It's over it. It's over this way. There's a. It's around the keyhole. It's around the handle. It's around it's around the lintel of the door, and he's pointing at the room that Fitch took the doctor to. It's not something we should be messing with, miss. I really should get you back to your room instead. You know, you don't want to be going there. But that does seem the truth.
Yes, cool. And does Bowen have the mark on his hands too, or would you have any marks anywhere?
I think he does. Yes.
I think so. I think we're going to show each other our hands. Pretty cool. Awesome. Thank you.
So the other things we know, he probably is going to tell Trap that this has happened. Yes. And Donna, all you said was he's not loyal he's got other loyalties. He didn't specify to the captain.
That's true.
Nice.
So,
Hello, Cap. So are you leaving that mysterious?
I think we'll leave that mysterious because it's still only a 3, right? So it's not in full force.
Okay. Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
So we're back around to Pot.
So I have been marked by the vampire, but not. I have not been eaten.
Sorry, I saw your cat.
That's okay. Kaylee's helping. Does anyone have any ideas for a scene? I feel like I should do something with the pigs.
The pigs, I don't know how vegetarian Punit is, but even if he's driven to either going for the pigs or pigs have to eat, maybe there's food down there that he could get at. That would be must be hungry by now, right? Or there's your knife to get back. Or is there something to? Do you want to? You've got that leverage still you haven't used.
Yeah, the
Yes.
blackmail on Fitch.
Oh yeah.
I am going to go talk to Finch. I'm going to reveal myself. Is there anyone who would like Shan? Are you comfortable continuing to be Finch? Kelly, nobody
Sure.
wants your
Yeah, if that's sure. Yes.
Okay. I think it should probably be dead of night, or yeah, let's say dead of night.
It's the dead of night, so you're looking to where you're coming to Fitch's cabin, or where you know he's being held. Okay.
I'm gonna knock.
I think what you notice when you're coming up is that even though Fitch is supposed to be kind of kept under lock and key, there's nobody guarding the door, right? So you're knocking. And door flings open. Just what the blazes are you? So.
I am going to push my way past Fitch into his cabin.
Wow, okay. Bold move. Do you want that to be is that something you just want to have happen?
Let's just have it happen.
Good.
I am happy to tussle with Fitch.
Fitch. That's it.
But I don't think that's interesting enough to be a moment. But I want to be in a room with the door closed with
under Fitch, and then you're in the room. So he kind of slams the door behind him, and then, like, what do you want, boy? Where did you come from?
I want your protection.
Okay. So Fitch, like, gonna from what and why would I protect some obvious stowaway?
Um, from the captain, I don't want to be shark food. And things are happening. And because I know your secret.
What secret do you think you know?
How many do you have?
Dangerous, dangerous to tread here, boy.
Everything's dangerous now. I need to get to England.
Ship's headed that way.
I can't be where I was hiding. I want to hide in your quarters.
Where exactly were you hiding?
I don't think you need to know that.
You weren't down below the bow, were you?
I'm a fidget. Then not make eye contact.
I think you're in more danger than you know, boy.
I hold up my arm.
The mark is there.
Yep. I got a big old dirty handprint.
And that Fitch kind of recoils. Like, maybe you do know how much trouble you're in and how much danger. Can't help you with that.
I need a moment here, and I'm sort of struggling for.
Yeah, I just think
Like,
of
do
where we
I
want to
overpower him, or do I attempt to overpower him?
Or maybe also, like, if maybe another way to take it is Fitch actually is not like, maybe that's more of a, oh, okay, you can be one of us since you're marked. What do you think? Okay, what's more interesting to you?
I'm not sure. I've had something going in here, and I've kind of lost track of it.
So is Punnett really trying to get away, find somewhere else to stay, or is he trying to get someone else to stay in that room for him and take the vampire's attention away from him?
I am trying not to go back to that room, and Fitch is the only person that I can think of who has both a modicum of privacy and that I might be able to persuade not to feed me to pigs, sharks, or vampires.
One thing I'd say is, oh, go for it.
No, please. Go.
The other thought I had is maybe once you show Fitch that mark, what he says is, if the person who gives you that mark agrees that you can stay here, then you can stay here, but we need to ask him.
Shit, son. Yeah.
You sit.
I sit. So is Fitch implying that he's going to go get the vampire?
He just kind of sits there and stares at you for a while, and then you hear a noise on the other side of the door. I think he knows that you've come here.
I've made a miscalculation. Let's have a moment. I'm going to try to get away. I am pretty sure that I'm going to get fed to a vampire now.
So you're trying to get away. so I think obviously one of the consequences is the vampire comes in, and I mean, how far do you want to push that? I think you could, you're marked, you can put another mark, so you get marked more. So, so you kind of more under the vampire's control. And then I think as well the consequence, then you're beholden to answer to Fitch as well. So would those work as separate consequences? Let me open this up and ask for suggestions too.
I guess with a hold already in place, like giving into the vampire seems like a much more weighty consequence this time around.
Cool.
So that really hurts in the next part, doesn't it? When you've got the more hold you have.
Yeah, I mean, it hurts. It hurts now, I think, already. Yeah. So I guess it depends how we wanted to play it. You know, we can leave it open and then kind of resolve it in a you know, in an epilogue or an aftermath, or we could see how the dice treat it. You know.
Are we still planning on wrapping up in 20?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. Depending on people, I mean, we'll see how quick we can get through this round of scenes, maybe, and then we can wrap up. I know it's in a long game, so I don't want to hold people too much over.
Does anyone have any feelings about what would be most interesting? Like, I'm kind of feeling he's minion bound.
Yeah. I mean, the reversal there, like, is surprising, but also it feels inevitable, you know. So like going to someone that Punnett thought he could kind of deal with, and then ending up being trapped is very interesting to me. I don't know how you feel about it.
I kind of don't feel like I should be pushing. I kind of want. Which are you more scared of? That might be the most interesting one for a horror game.
I think I am more scared of the first mate than I am of the vampire. And I thought that I was going to be able to negotiate, and now I'm not. And I just need to get out. So I'm going to try to flee.
So could we say that instead of the vampire being at the door, that, you know, the mark that he has left on you allows Punnett to kind of sense him approaching, and so it is possible for you to get out the door without a direct confrontation. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Cool.
Thank you.
So your achievement would be getting free.
Yes, getting back getting back below decks to the pigsty.
I think the consequence, I'm going to say here, I don't want to be just completely opposite because you could still go out, but a consequence would be that you are now somehow beholden to Fitch and spying for him. And so he allows you to stay. Or I'm open to other suggestions too, though.
No, I like that. He can. That's kind of shouting out the door. Is like, don't forget what you owe, or something.
Kind of flip the leverage. Cool. Do we need to do anything else then?
So then I guess it's spending from the trait. If it's sneaking about, or I'm not sure.
I think, oh God. One moment. There's my character keeper. I think that I'm going to attempt to use my prodigious strength.
Cool.
So I guess that's 2 dice for the 2 outcomes.
I have not actually encountered a vampire.
Oh, yes. So that's a 3rd die.
Okay. Ah. I don't even know what just happened. I have 4 dice now.
Oh, it was doing that to me. I was. It wasn't clearing the dice, so I'd end up with like twice as many as I needed.
Okay. So if you
clear everything and start again.
Yeah, clearing everything and starting again is probably the easiest.
Clear.
You can also click on one and just delete the selected, but
so I'm rolling 3d6.
Yeah.
Yes. 5, 5, 6. I did not expect anything to go that well.
Nice.
Does anyone else have anything to say about that?
I am sorely tempted to try and interfere with one of those because I kind of want you to get trapped, but not to the point that I'll actually do it.
Yeah, I don't think I have any relevant claims anyway, so I will not.
No, that's a sterling roll, and you should be proud.
Yes, but it's not narratively where I want to go. Okay, I'm going to avoid. Let's see. My
Would
2
you like to go
consequences are.
narratively, Kim?
Yeah, I mean, if you want, you can use your own coins to
Oh.
You can stymie yourself.
So I'm just allotting them between successfully avoiding the vampire, successfully getting
avoiding the vampire, resisting his call, and Fitch's control over you.
Okay, I'm going to avoid the vampire with a 6, and then 5 for the other 2, which I think just means that I get away.
I think he gets some extra coins.
Yeah, you generate 2, I think, for your reserve, or no, for your core. Yeah, for your satellite trait. So you get, you basically end up not spending anything.
You get another achievement, right?
Yeah. And the 6 generates another achievement for you. Yeah, thanks. Whatever you decide that to be.
The only thing I can think of that I could achieve in this is somehow more distance from the vampire.
Could you
But
mark? Is Fitch himself marked? Could you pass on the soil as
ooh, that's a good one.
That's cool.
Maybe I just like not pass it on, but spread the load. Like,
Or alternatively, if you're fleeing to the pig pen, remember when we had that scene with King, the pigs were avoiding the soil. So maybe when you find yourself in the pig pen, you realize it's kind of a haven from this vampiric influence.
ooh, nice. Yes. I'm going to get to the pig pen and my arm is going to burn less. Or wherever I'm marked. I'm no longer feeling the call quite so intensely.
Cool.
Okay. Nice.
Fitch thought he was getting someone to follow him. No one to follow him, and potentially a angry vampire showing up. Cool.
So we go to the doctor.
Okay. And I guess I think because I'm going to be, I need to know more about King, how he's back. So I think I haven't had you lead in a while. Can I? Would you like to run the run King's Revenant?
Yeah, yeah. So when we saw him in that room, remind me, he was obviously alive, but not restrained in any way.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we thought we buried him. Yet here, it's sea burial into the sharks, but here he is.
Yeah. So do you think you find him back in that room, or do you encounter him somewhere in the corridors?
How long has it been? I feel like we're. I mean, if we're not in the room, it's because he's walked off and I followed him. I don't think we're much further into the
Okay. Yeah.
timeline than that.
Let's stick with that room.
So, but how, King? How are you here? We saw you overboard. We put a stitch through your lip and everything.
And he slowly shudders to his feet. Doctor, a shroud is for a dead man, and I am not dead.
But you were. How are you here?
You're a doctor, and you say that I am dead.
I'm going to move forward and place my fingers just at his neck to take the pulse. See if there's one there. See if it's fast. See if it's cold.
So I think there's no pulse, and he feels cold. I mean, like a cadaver.
And is he responding to the touch?
I guess the skin is not quite responding like it should, either for someone who is alive or dead. It doesn't feel like anything you've touched before.
You're You have, King, you have no pulse. Listen, may I? And I take out a scalpel and hover it over to him. Do you, and I'm about to sink in to his arm if he doesn't stop me.
I think he looks at it in a kind of, almost academic curiosity. And he says, just as the tip of the scalpel touches his skin, if you draw my blood, I will draw yours, Doctor.
I kind of need to know. We were friends, King. We are friends, King. You know my knowledge. This won't hurt.
And he puts his hand onto your forehead and says, you were never my friend. You left me die for your curiosity. And I think he pushes you away.
That crippling guilt going.
That hurts.
Yeah, I think he is. I think I'm going to push that moment.
I think you should.
And let's go for your secret. Everybody's friend, not nobody's friend. More like it.
Okay, that's fine. So what's my consequence?
I think you're going to be marked. You're going to have this vampiric handprint on your head.
I will take that if I can have the achievement of realizing this, of understanding this revenance more.
Sure. Anything else, or?
I've got 4 in here, so I could have something else. No, if I get a sense of where it's coming from. If the scar is giving the mark is giving some form of connection, realizing I can use that to trace the vampire.
Okay. Yeah.
Although that depends on that's not orthogonal. That depends.
Or maybe it's realizing that anywhere where you see that kind of mark, you can trace it.
I think.
Yeah. How about the consequence for that? On top of that is that the vampire can trace you whenever you are close to a mark.
Fair enough. So that's all 4 out of my everybody's friend.
Yeah.
So that's. Oh, I roll first.
Yeah. Roll 4.
I'm gonna apparently ask this every time. That is my best roll all night.
Yeah. Mostly
4,
positive.
5, 5. So I think narratively I should take the mark with the 3. I'll not be tracked yet with the 4, and I'll put the 5s in my achievements. I'm going to get some blood out of King and understand it a bit more, and I'm going to get a flash of the way of how to find the vampire itself. Unless there are coins.
I think I am contractually obliged to spend my black ichor claim.
I was about to say, is it really blood that comes out?
Yeah. So I'm going to spend 2 out of that and push the vampire tracking with, you put a 4 in, right?
Yes.
I'm going to push that down to a 2.
Oh, who? Can we actually do that on the?
You can't change individual dice on roll for your party. Would need to.
Okay. Anybody else?
So, so jump in if I seem like I'm forgetting one of them, because with 4 consequences.
Yes, it's a big one.
So I think its strength is not enough to push you away, right? So it kind of puts its hand on your forehead and shoves you, but really it's nothing that a patient hasn't done when you've been, amputating something or doing something worse to them. And the scalpel bites into this rubbery flesh, and far too late and far too viscously, this black ichor surges out of the cut. And it, almost inevitably, it runs over your fingertips. And it seems to, it seems to mark you in a way that you kind of realize straight away. And you get this flash down towards that cabin that no one aboard has been inside since the captain locked it back in Calcutta. A flash in there to a box full of this ichor, this soil, with something inside it with fiery eyes that looks directly at you as you look at them.
Fair enough. So I am marked. I am tracked. I'm understanding. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
I'm looking at the time. I'm gonna skip the captain's go, and Shannon will give the lady a last scene. That sounds okay to you?
Sure. If you don't have any suggestions, I think so. At this point, I'm marked. The doctor's marked. Anita's marked. Is the captain marked? I don't remember.
Captain is oblivious to all this vampire
yes,
stuff.
he's just writing his whale book.
So, I mean, if you don't have an idea and you want to get the captain into more trouble, I can accommodate you. But I just wanted to give you a shot at.
I'd love actually for the captain to maybe have the last go. That's fine. I didn't really have an idea for the lady, so
yeah. Do you want to run it? Do you want to set the scene?
Sure. Do you have an idea for the captain?
There's a lot of shenanigans going on, isn't there? Even this captain should probably pay attention to this kind of stuff. I think he has noticed the trap has been a little bit out of sorts, and he has. I think he is returning to Fitch to reinstate him. His temper has abated a little bit, and maybe he's had second thoughts.
And so, does he call Fitch to come up to his cabin? Or does he? go see
Yeah,
Fitch
I
with it.
mean, there's having second thoughts, and there's abasing yourself
Yeah,
before
right. That's,
your inferior officer. So yeah, I think he summons Fitch to his cabin.
okay. So Fitch comes. Anyone else in the room?
I don't think
Chappie
so.
there, or no? Just the two of you, right?
Yeah, I think it's just the two of them.
So what do you want to say to Fitch?
Fitch, take a seat there. We should discuss your rank and privileges.
I think Fitch still looks pretty insolent after not quite fully scornful at that, but very slowly takes a seat, looks at you. There's still just insubordination all over this man. What about it, sir?
Regardless of how you sit before me, the word from a captain about a hitherto promising young officer could send you to the breadline or to your own command. So I suggest you take this offer in the spirit it is meant.
I'm going to say at this point, Fitch is still not taking that, and maybe is. So let me just throw something out. I was thinking maybe he's going to just say he's got basically a different authority to report to at this point.
Okay. And what would that authority be?
Have you really been this oblivious? So just completely. I think would be very insolent at this point to you. Donna, where would you like to take it though? Because would you like the vampire to come in?
So, I mean, I think maybe, yeah, I think what'll happen maybe is that the captain is kind of getting to his feet and trying to intimidate Fitch when the vampire kind of walks in, to prove what that other authority is, right?
Yep. I think it might be interesting if everyone who's got the mark also starts filing in quietly to the room. So the little stowaway boy who's never seen comes in with a mark on his face. Lady Caroline and companion come in with their hands marked. I think maybe the doctor's just drawn as he sees people wandering in. So if that's cool, then just kind of a quiet filing in of everyone at the mark, and then the vampire comes in as well.
I'd almost like to cut there. That kind of scene never ends well, does it?
Yeah, I was picturing kind of like the doctor following all the semi-zombified people walking.
Yeah. I think maybe well, here's the achievement, right, I have in mind. The captain has the wherewithal to notice that there are people on the ship who are not affected, and so he doesn't lose hope.
Right? Okay. I think a consequence marked by the vampire. The vampire comes in and hands around a hand at his throat just to mark him. Is that too oppositional? I mean, I think the mark is going to happen as a consequence.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, I think my next achievement will be to do something to burn this creature standing in front of me with a desk lamp or something. Okay. Any other consequence for that?
The consequence is whether or not you're successful in burning the vampire, you burn up your book.
Oh,
Oh,
serious. Okay, sure. Let's go with that. So I am spending 1 for my fearsome temper, which brings it to 0. And I'm spending 3 for my secret. Okay, I've changed the font color in that. Shock horror. So I will.
Oh, okay.
I will re-roll these dice. Okay, a 2, a 3, a 4, and a 5. Very average. So, yeah, I think let me see. I mean, there's stuff I can. There's claims I can wipe out for double effect. So I think I will do that with the loyalty of the men. There are some people maybe following the doctor, wondering at this strange gathering, and I guess I really should have signed these things first. So I need more space on my. I need more space on my achievements and consequences. Where's the loyal crew? Burn the vampire. Burn my book and marked by the vampire. Okay. So I'm going to put the 3 on marked by the vampire. He will get his hands on me somehow. And I'll put a 4 on the loyal crew. That's the 2 bumped up to a 4. And I will put a 5 on burn my book. Damn it. And I'll put a 4 on burn the vampire. So I think that concludes the voting of the Dublin jury.
Do you have some, Shannon?
Well, I do.
Okay.
I feel like there needs to be some more consequences against the vampire. I'm going to spend my claim on the book to burn the book.
Oh, so if you wipe it out, you get
Yes.
to like double the value. So that is, sorry, what is it? It's currently a 2, so you got 4, which bumps it down to a 1, which is burnt without a trace, right?
And the notes you took too.
Yeah. Everything, every chart with markings, everything that could possibly be used to recreate it is gone.
Okay. Now I want to cancel out my insubordination claim to have the men rally to Fitch, not to the captain as he tries to burn the vampire.
Okay. Is that down to
That's down to 0 from 2.
Okay, so it's down to a 1, right? So, okay. Anyone else piling on?
This feels kind of mean, given you've been such a lovely host, but no.
No, this is perfect. This is perfect. Okay. but no one's saving the vampire, you know. I mean, from getting burnt. Um, though it's a 4, so, I mean, it's an achievement, right? So it's not. It's not.
Oh, sorry, I thought that was what my insubordination was. There was.
Oh, sorry. I
they
thought
they
you were. I thought you were knocking down the loyal crew. Sorry.
Oh, am I? Maybe I am.
Oh.
No, I think. No, I think you're right. Yours makes more sense. Yeah, you can burn the vampire, I guess. I'm sure you can take it.
Okay. Yeah.
Because you're still marked by the vampire.
Yeah, it's still marked by the vampire, right? So, okay. So, I think that is all of those consequences and outcomes finalized. How does that? How does that scene
look.
end?
So Captain valiantly pushes back against the vampire just as its hands are closing on his throat. You can still see a little bit of the residue against his throat as he's flailing about for something to attack the vampire with. Grabs his lantern on his desk, smashes against the vampire flames as he's starting to kind of flail about. The manuscript on the desk goes up, all the paper on the desk. You see Fitch come running in and following him. Did the doctor follow him?
Yes.
Yes. So, okay, doctor's open. And then behind Fitch, all the men are lined up. And basically, as the vampire burns, the captain's left to look at the remains of his book also burning and look around in dismay at a cabin full of mutineers and the marked. Probably end it there.
Okay.
I think Mutineers and the Marked is the title.
Yeah. So, at the aftermath. So, we do, I guess, one quick wrap-up scene for each character. I guess tying together the current state of our characters as they are now, what changes have occurred. There's no mechanics of it. We're just kind of, you know, it's a simple epilogue. Yeah, take into account the kind of stadia of our relationship with the vampire, and then wrap up. Anyone want to go first?
I figure we're still on the ship. Captain is restrained to quarters. But more and more people are coming to the surgery of the doctor with similar conditions, similar stillnesses and pulselessness. And more the doctor is learning how to treat and help people in this state. It's a living.
How about for Punit?
I think Punit makes it to England. The vampire is more interested in useful or powerful people, and Punit's going to be Punit is not going to find the life he wants in England, and that's fine with the vampire.
Okay, Lady Caroline.
I think as I'd like to say that the ship is forced to make us stop and just kind of fulfill something for her. It doesn't quite reach England first, but I'm not sure where you'd stop between in England, but let's say maybe on Gibraltar area, something like that, and leaves the ship at that point. But for the rest of her life, she, however long that's going to be, has the marks on her wrists and hands, can never be seen without gloves. Not that a lady usually is, but kind of lives a life of solitude after that. Is forever troubled by the marks on her hand, and often has visions of the marks crawling all over her body even more. So the blood stain that she originally couldn't get out of her shirt, she's seeing the kind of the ichor stains on her body throughout her life.
So for the captain, I think we see the ship at anchor off Portsmouth, and I think Punnett is the first ashore, without any job to do. He knows to get going, and the captain is still restrained in his bed, and as this crew work through the day to prepare for their arrival on the soil of England, you see the flames from his desk lamp erupt into an explosion as he glances over at his bedside locker, engulfing the ship.
Cool.
Okay. So that's it. That's our tale. I guess we'll stop recording and do a quick debrief. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.